in Switzerland.
Zurich, yeah, Zurich, ETH Zurich. It was a conference about venture as a new mode of practice, about
Mm.
architectural startups.
So we'll learn some more about that. And Patrick, you've also been stateside, and Dustin has been deciding which city he wants to live in next.
And he's selling
Currently,
now
he's
as
not
well.
here. Sorry.
He is selling to someone right now, I think.
Yeah, he has a few options. So and currently he's also here at Autodesk University, and he couldn't join us because he wants to go and see what's going on at the pre-construction announcement by Autodesk. Um, so let's see if anything exciting comes out of that.
Yeah, so what is out there, Owen? Like what have you seen? How is the vibe? I'm actually super surprised and super glad that Autodesk decided to do the conference during our pod. So then you can live stream part of it.
Yes, that's what they decided, Martin. They originally wanted to move it to a different time, but they decided no, Bricks and
Yes, I'm
Bytes is
super
on.
I'm super happy. I'm super happy.
Yeah,
That's what I want
we
to say.
have to do it when Owen is here.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, sad times because Autodesk do also have their own podcast, um, the Digital
catching
Builder
up.
podcast, but they wouldn't let me on. So never mind. Next year.
Mm. That's a
So,
war.
But yeah, we're here. So this is, I just realized I can't flip the camera whilst we're live streaming. This is a Riverside issue. But anyway, I will show you guys where I am. I'm currently in the center of Music City, which is the very center of Nashville. And this is the venue. So hopefully you'll be able to get a little bit of an idea of the scale of this thing.
Tennessee, baby.
That is it. Love it. And there, right up there, is the Drury Plaza Hotel. Unfortunately, not related to Owen Drury in any way. And so yeah, I'm currently in the hall here. And what has what's been going on here? I mean, like American conferences, I think for us Europeans, they can be very overwhelming. We're not used to that kind of intensity of things going on. So they're quite tiring and very, very big compared to what I've seen in Europe. However, I do know obviously within Munich they have was it Balma? Which I think is
Yeah.
humongous, like 5 days or something.
Mhm.
So maybe I just need to get myself out a little bit more. But yeah, I think that the main keynote that Autodesk done on what day are we now? Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday morning. Um, there was nothing like significant to report back. Honestly, there was
And what any prevailing type of startups that you saw? What type?
prevailing type of startups. I mean, it's AI, right? AI is everywhere. The big booths here. We have Data Grid, who've got a huge booth. Some other AI, smaller AI that are more focused on architectural spaces. I think that's a prevailing theme across the startup world, but also within Autodesk announcements. But the Autodesk announcements, based on conversations that I was having with a few of the people after that, were everyone's a little bit underwhelmed by it and thought that some of the stuff that they announced could have been done just using simple AI with ChatGPT.
Wherever you're going,
So-
your reception is worse and worse. I just wanted to say.
Oh, really?
It's crossing the state line.
Yeah, I started walking this way. I'm going to carry on walking because I think I take you to the expo hall. But the signal does get slightly worse as we go through here. Maybe I'll try turning the Wi-Fi off.
Well, I mean, successfully turned the video off, but okay.
Patrick,
you
have
hear
been
me?
to Autodesk University conference in the past?
No,
In your
no,
life?
but I haven't been many conferences, so that's.
No.
I would tell you it's on the bucket list, but that would be a blatant lie.
It's a great experience.
I believe you.
So look, can you guys see down there?
Yes.
Yeah, so like almost as far as my eyes can see is like inside of a building. I always find that a weird thing to think about because it's just huge.
The grandness.
Yeah, and on the left up here is the expo hall. So I will go in there. But in the meantime, Martin, do you want to? What's happening with you? You were at ETH. What was happening? What was the? You were probably a little bit more focused and concentrated than I am. Mine's been a little bit broader than that.
Yeah.
So what happened there?
Yeah, I actually enjoyed that one. So first time I was moderating or helping to moderate a panel which was about what problems are worth solving in terms of investing in architectural startups, and the whole premise of the conference was how can we or they make architects innovate more. So yeah, and create more startups within AEC. Really, they meant architecture, but what they really meant is AEC, I think. Yeah, so there was quite an interesting experience, I think. And yeah, my session, what problems are worth solving? We had a panel consisting of venture capitalists and also people who were building startups. So both from academia and the business. So the people who are building startups was Professor Felipe Bloch, who's having a whose business name is Volted. Yeah, they are building business called Volted, and Dr. Celine.
Oh, you mean
She
like
is
vaulted? VAULTED,
yes, yes,
not the
yes, yes,
electric. Yeah.
yes, and it's very tangible, very like heavy engineering. What they are trying, well, what they are doing is they are creating these slabs, which are kind of like on a vaulted shape when you look from the bottom to the top.
Mm.
Yeah, and another one
It's
was
like a engineer. Is it like engineered concrete?
yeah, it
What?
is concrete, and there's like USP is that there's no reinforcement there. There's only concrete, so there's I think 30% reduction in concrete, no reinforcement, like I said, so quicker and faster and lighter. I think the only downside there, which they didn't mention nothing about, is that the thickness of the floor needs to be thicker because it's kind of vaulted shape rather than just horizontal. Um,
Mm.
yeah, so
So what's the value proposition then?
what's the value proposition?
Is it like
That
aesthetics or?
there is part of aesthetics because like I said again, it's vaulted, so it looks in a certain shape, and it has some structural
Mm.
elements visible. So part of it is this less concrete, way less concrete than typical slabs, no reinforcement. So yeah, and it's obviously offsite manufactured completely. Yeah.
Mm.
So that's the premise there.
Very
Yeah. Well,
interesting.
I like them because he is a structural engineer, so he kind of
Oh
he
my
was
God, yeah. I would love to be part of those conversations
no, there wasn't much more conversations about structural engineering. He was
between
focused
you,
on
you and another structural engineer.
So what did the panel discuss, Martin? What were the topics?
what are worth solving. And I actually opened up with a question: are we more looking in the future into tangible solutions, like in a case of Volted, or in a case of Layered, so another startup that we had on the panel, and they do robotics for render. So are we going to have more startups in the tangible world or more SaaS oriented software solutions? That was the
Mm.
question.
What's the answer?
What do you guys think? What's the answer? What's the answer? So those who are doing who are doing tangible stuff were kind of disagreeing slightly with the venture capitalists. That it's probably more prevailing view on the software.
Really?
Interesting. I'm going to invest more money from Fund 3, in our case, actually, into hardware stuff and robotics in particular, but not limited to, and anything that basically touches and reorganizes atoms. Everything of that will anyway have a software component to it. So it's okay. If everyone else parks their money somewhere else, I get better prices.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed the narrative flip actually more towards hardware. Um, whether that answers the question or not, I don't know, but I certainly see, even just for Patrick, by what you said now, I think people are more excited about hardware at this current point in time. Hey guys,
And
you
is it
recognize
not?
these? This?
What do you have? Oh, that's a Dusty bot.
Yeah.
Is there Bricks and Bytes writing somewhere?
No, actually, Martin, this on the floor here is Rambled.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
yeah. So Dusty, they printed a bricks and bytes thing for us a few days ago. Tessa's not here, sadly, so we can't chat to her. But yeah, they printed us a bricks and bytes at AU um,
Nice.
on, which was cool. Um,
oh, and just a heads up
oh,
that your device storage is running low.
yeah, I don't know what to do about that. We're going to delete a load of photos quickly. Okay,
Oh,
I will carry on trying to talk and see if this continues to work.
sounds good. Sounds good. Carry the podcast, please.
Yeah. So, yeah, Rambled. We actually spoke. Talking of Rambled, we spoke to the founder of. Do you know the inventor of Rambled?
No, is that a
Are
Danish
you
guy?
familiar? No, American.
No.
So this was like completely amazing to me when we spoke to the founders of PayTracker last week, and the dad of Davis, one of the co-founders there. He was the inventor of Rambled, which is amazing because in my experience on construction sites, whenever you would go there and people were protecting the floors specifically, Rambled is everywhere. It's like such a common product. So there you go. It's
For
funny
hire.
how,
For higher
yeah,
end.
Nice.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought inventors of new methods would actually do sales on TV. You know, I have a new flex glue and I put that on TV. So I didn't know they actually existed before TV. There you go.
There you go. Magical. Yes. Mine, do you want to carry on with your ETH story?
Yeah, there was a story actually about our panel, but there were well some things I noticed actually, which were which were quite interesting. As there's quite a few startups I saw that were pitching for investments. There was like 10 startups who were pitching for investments on this during this event that were doing the same thing. At least two, maybe three, and that is timber floors with earth, and it was quite interesting to not to see that there's so many solutions searching for money within this space, because that looks to me like more traditional way of creating offsite timber panels and then wrapping them around with earth, which provides fire resistance. And yeah, I don't know, Patrick. I think those come from Europe. One for sure.
Actually, the one that you mentioned comes specifically from the ETH ecosystem.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. And is there anything particular in this type of solution right now, or is
Mine,
it
just help me
venture
understand
backable? That
quickly.
is
This was a structural floor panel, like
yeah,
yeah.
structural timber floor panel, and it was to a degree wrapped with earth. Yeah. And what this earth does is prevents from fire destroying the timber in the case of fire.
Yeah. So you
So there's
replace concrete slab as floor-to-floor ceiling, and you can manufacture it offsite. You can use timber, which is a dogmatic topic. So there are people who always want to use timber, then there are people who never want to use timber. But for those that decide that timber is right for them, it's not, you know, with this one, you can actually have a structural and fire protected solution.
yeah, one of
Interesting.
those was Lemit, I think. Lemit. Yeah.
So did
Is
any
this
of
Hey, I
them
just
get
wanted to.
money
business?
after they pitched?
Say it again.
Did any of them get money after they pitched? Is that how it
I don't know
works?
if they. I don't know if they get. There was a pitch. Obviously, there were some investors there, and I guess some contractors, some larger companies. There was Karel from Implenia as well. Obviously, they don't invest, but yeah, there was like 4 minute opportunity to pitch for those 10 startups.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, one interesting solutions I saw apart from this. Okay, maybe so going back to these structural timber panels, Patrick, is this backable business model? Is it innovative enough to have legs for the venture capital? Because I honestly wasn't sure when I was listening to these pitches.
So I'm at least not of the mind that venture should rule out opportunities just because they are hardware or just because they're a material or just because they're a new building method. So I at least don't rule it out on that basis. However, what I will say, what applies to me, is that when you build such a solution, there needs to be some form of technology that makes you not only defensible, but also that
Unique.
shows me a non-incremental scale curve. I don't want to say it has to be exponential, but it has to be non-incremental and non-linear. And so oftentimes that would then, on the manufacturing side, perhaps be that you can produce much, much cheaper at much higher volume. Then I would ask you, okay, how do you do it better than, for example, what I can get in China? And maybe the answer only is, well, logistics cost. That's not great.
Not
And then I
much.
would still need to understand how you actually distribute that. And that's where oftentimes the logic breaks, because to have a new type of material, a new type of building method gain mass adoption in the market, that can be much, much longer than most venture fund lifetimes. And so that's a little bit of problem when it's outside of the control of the company. That doesn't mean it's not worthy of investment or it doesn't deserve getting capital. It might just not sometimes be very well aligned with a venture specific type of capital, because there the fund lifetime might just not align with the time you need in order to change market behaviors. So that's something, you know, people will be wary of, and I know I am. And then finally, what is the exit path and what is the exit multiple? So if you're closer to actual material, you will very likely get valued 8, 10x on EBITDA. And so for that, in order to return anyone's venture fund, even of small venture funds, you will need to have billions of dollars of revenue. So going back to the previous point, how do you gain quick mass adoption, and how do you gain, to the first point, how do you gain production scale extremely well? So it's not an easy proposition, but it can be deserving of capital, but perhaps other sources.
Yeah, obviously you put it in a very nice summary, but my gut feeling is that it's more, you probably need to prove. I think it's like that what would work is like Goldbeck has done with their business. So they've started from something, and it was working well. There were some margins that they could be deployed into some innovation, and then kind of growing market share and expanding into new product lines. That what could work. But just launching a product like that and hoping for venture capital to to scale it doesn't feel like a right way. Yeah. But there was one startup that I actually kind of liked when I was listening to the pitch. It was called VYZN Tech.
Yeah, vision.
Yes.
Oh, and I think you got background noise.
Yeah, quite a lot.
Still?
I muted him. That was too much.
Field report.
Yeah. Vision. Oh yeah, you read it well. Vision. Yeah.
Yeah. I met the team. It's a cool team.
So
You know, everybody should give them a follow. I think it's a cool team.
you were where? Sorry.
I was saying I've met them. I think it's a cool team. Everybody can give them a follow and check out what they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just don't see the many solutions doing similar stuff. Have you?
Yeah, you have alternatives. If you're a customer, you can definitely choose from a few. The feature set might be slightly different, but in total, you know, I can get I can get substitutes, but you know, it was their place to pitch, so you know, good for them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Okay.
back.
Good.
Are you now on stage, Owen?
I've upgraded my life. No, this is an issue I did not expect to happen, but apparently you need a ton of iPhone storage in order to record on Riverside whilst you're walking around, which I did not foresee would be an issue. So now we're going to be in a static location. I was just about to show you actually. Last Energy have a booth here, and they have their power vault. It's very impressive, and literally cut out at that point. So sadly, you'll have to check out their website when you see that. Yeah. Mine, anything else from ETH? Or should we go to Patrick's
the only thing like I struggled with over there, was the fact that the innovation is they're trying to push innovation within this architectural department of university. And I think actually instead of starting from innovation, they should start from entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship is what probably can drive innovation rather than throwing lots of money into innovation, hoping that there'll be great startups out of it. Because it's all about people and how resourceful they can be. So what is missing to me for initiative like that is how do we boost entrepreneurship?
So look, and
Within,
you've been at one of the better ecosystems of Europe, right? So ETH has a very healthy, let's say, technology transfer and startup ecosystem within Europe, one of the best ones. TU Munich maybe being another one, and your observation is certainly striking, and I share it. But I do think it's less about, honestly, it's less about, okay, do I start from the problem? Do I start with the technology? Am I the hammer? Do I look for a nail? I honestly don't think any of that fixes whether universities can produce more successful startups. In the end, is how unreasonable you teach your students to be. And a lot of the universities in Europe are so deeply institutional, they cannot leave their framework of being reasonable. And so that's what you learn in there. And so especially when you're in engineering school, I mean, Martin, who has ever told you that the 3 laws of thermodynamics don't apply? No one, right? So you're basically being taught all the time to stay within reason. And so if you want to build a really awesome company, however, you have to be really going against the grain and doing things that other people will not only call you crazy for, but actually say, hey, that's not allowed, that's not permitted, one shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So that if the top European universities fix this specific aspect, you will see much more successful companies coming out of them very quickly, actually.
yeah,
the
it
way to
seems to be
fix
a
it,
common thread theme actually across, like when you have large institutions trying to do innovation, for lack of a better term, there's always these kind of issues similar to, just to draw comparisons with Autodesk here. A lot of the announcements that came out here, when I was speaking to people last night or throughout the day, they're still convinced that the startups do it way better, and that the only real way that the companies like Autodesk can innovate is just through their strategy, which tried, tested, and works. Acquisitions. Someone builds a better software product for them, they acquire it and embed it within their system.
I think if there was, if someone flipped the script and at the university, the only people who are allowed to teach would be scholars with businesses, that would completely flip the script, because
now you are opening up a like.
That would be a sad society. Oh.
Why would that be a sad society?
Well, not everything has to be marketed. Not everything has to be a business. Yeah. No, that would not necessarily be a society I want to be in. In fact, I'm a staunch supporter of basic education should be free. And so the moment you introduce that, I can tell you that everybody's going to pay for even the slightest bit of education.
No, I'm talking about, like, if, for example, in ETH, there would be like a 2-year, 3-year program, like, I don't know, business in architecture, or entrepreneurship in architecture, or something like that.
I think places do it.
People who are doing the lectures for students, they would have to be involved in real businesses or running real businesses to participate, and that would be also a unique selling proposition.
What's a real business? Okay, I mean, look, it's a fun conversation, but who's the judge?
Yeah.
What's a real business?
What's the real
right?
business? Okay, so we can say
I raised 50 million. Is that a real business?
Yes.
Do you tell me you deal with people who raise a lot of
wrong
money,
signal,
so.
Wrong metric. No,
Wrong
that
signal.
doesn't tell me whether it's a real business or not.
That's true. But subjectively, you could make a judgment if this is a real business or not.
Hey, Martin, I want to know if you got the job or not at ETH. Are they inviting you again next year?
Yeah, they said next year you're moderating the whole session.
Woo!
Ooh,
So
For
you're
free.
now
might regret
officially the
that.
business professor.
Business.
He's gonna incubate entrepreneurship. As soon as Martin's done his
Yeah.
stint next year, you wait till ETH the following
be
year.
cool.
All these great successful startups come out the back of it, thanks to
Yeah,
Professor
for sure.
Martin.
First, I need to
Yeah,
do well in life. Then I can do that.
you're doing well. How,
I
Patrick?
know.
How was your trip to the States?
Oh, so I went to Los Angeles. I'm fairly familiar with the hood. I spent a part of my life there. So welcoming invite. And as Shup and I had discussed on Practical Nerds, we don't do this a lot. We don't, let's say, take part in events. It's an ROI question oftentimes, and that ROI needs to map to our strategy. I'm not going to repeat that. If anyone is actually interested in that sad part of my life, go listen to that episode. But anyway, we don't do that a lot. And so here, there was someone that I value and appreciate a lot that invited me. So I took part in a small part of that event and used the rest of the time to actually meet robotics founders out of Hawthorne. That was pretty cool. But so the part that I took part in. Oh, and you know this, I'm a big NFL guy. You're in Tennessee right now. So you sent me pictures from the new Titans stadium that is actually getting built by, I believe, Turner and a consortium of others.
Yeah, I went there yesterday, actually. I'm glad you said that. And I was trying to find who was building it, but there's no obvious
it's
propaganda.
It's a consortium around Turner. And so that's the link to my LA experience. So Turner was also part of the consortium that built the new LA Rams and Chargers stadium. Actually, so I'm going to get to some very juicy parts here. In LA, in Inglewood, that stadium was opened, I believe, 5 years ago. It hosted It was supposed to host the Super Bowl, I think, 2020, and then it got it in 2021 because they were slightly delayed due to rainfall during the early construction, heavy rainfall actually during the early construction, and so this host actually had organized an amazing tour. So I was on my own dime. I was there on Sunday, which was the week 1 opening game of the LA Rams versus the Houston Texans. So this was my, 6th or 7th NFL game that I've attended. And it was damn loud. This was crazy loud. So the decibel meter said basically the entire time 95 decibels. So my ears were ringing afterwards. You can't believe how loud that stadium is. It's, quite something.
This is just the crowd noise, yeah?
Crowd noise plus loudspeakers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the fuck up? Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. So that was fun, blah, 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 blah. And then fast forward to Tuesday. So this host had organized a behind-the-scenes tour of the stadium when it was empty. And so when we got there with 15 executives, 15, we were greeted by Kevin Demoff. And so Kevin Demoff is, to people who follow the NFL, can be considered an idol. He's the president of the LA Rams. He works directly for Stan Kroenke. Stan Kroenke is also the owner of which London-based football club?
Arsenal, yes.
That's right. So Kevin works for, 3 decades or so for Kroenke as the president of the Rams and all of his sports holdings. So they're also in, I think, NHL, basketball, Arsenal. They have a lacrosse team that he offered me to buy and take off his hands. So we didn't do that.
Oh, what an offer. What an offer.
Yeah, what an offer, right? Getting into
How much was it?
Yeah. Okay. So he greets us, and then he actually takes 2 hours out of his schedule to take us around, and the amount of stories there, absolutely crazy. My highlight was I was in the Rams locker room, so I got to see where they take ice baths. I got to see where they get massages. I got to see where Matthew Stafford, the quarterback, and his locker is, and Jimmy Garoppolo next to it. Amazing experience for someone that actually likes the NFL like me. I'm not a Rams guy, but amazing experience. And the stories he shared. So fun fact, I believe, I didn't ask him if it's true, but I believe Kevin's father was actually the agent of John Elway. John Elway is a Hall of Fame quarterback, 2-time Super Bowl champion of the Denver Broncos. And so his father, I believe, was the agent. And so he got into the NFL then also, blah, blah, blah. And About the stadium, he had things to say. So basically, in the end, the NFL sort of forced them to get into a co-ownership into a co-usage situation of the stadium with the Chargers. The Chargers are the other Los Angeles-based team, which previously were actually in San Diego. The Chargers then proposed to build their own stadium. NFL didn't want that, blah, blah, blah. So Kevin was basically saying, hey, you guys standing here have contributed as much to the construction of the stadium as have the LA Chargers. So it was like there was no love lost between them. That was pretty fun. And so a few other really nice, juicy stories, fun stories. Overall, had great time of these 2.5 hours of a behind the scenes tour. It's an amazing stadium, well done by Turner and the consortium to build this in what I think is record time and under difficult circumstances with heavy rainfall. So yeah, overall, pretty good trip for me.
That's a once in a lifetime experience. That sounds nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
Did you convince them to invest in the next fund?
The Rams?
Oh, that would be cool. Well, I guess that could be the next level of venture baby. That would get a lot of eyeballs. Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually fun. So Kevin, I asked him about one of the Hard Knocks seasons. So Hard Knocks is a behind-the-scenes documentary that every year in the off-season gets recorded in the NFL. And the Rams were, I think, in 2016 and then again 2 years ago. But I asked him about the 2016 season, which they were moving from St. Louis in preparation of the new season. So it was a very logistically challenging season. And I asked him, hey, how did that play out, blah, blah, blah. And so he was basically using that and saying, look, I mean, in all complexity, in the end, you cannot screw up an NFL franchise. You're getting a 450 million TV check from the NFL. You must pay maximum 300 million for salaries, and the remaining 150 need to cover my salary. So that was sort of the message. So I think they're doing fine on cash. Yeah,
that's a good model. Yeah, that's a good model. I like it.
One day.
Your story on the decibel rating. So do either of you have an Apple Watch?
I don't.
That you wear? No. So if you're in loud spaces for an exposed period of time, it says like the sound is the sound is up to 95 decibels. 10 minutes at that level can disrupt your hearing for 30 minutes or whatever it is. Anyway, I was in a bar down here yesterday for a few hours listening to some country music, and lo and behold, 10 minutes in, 95 decibels up on my watch telling me to get out, but music was too good, so I took the hit to the hearing in trade for some great country music.
That leaves some ringing.
Yeah, I was okay. Not bad. Maybe my experience in my high school band has permanently damaged my hearing anyway, so it was not too bad. Yeah, cool stories.
Yep. So I was happy with my trip, but every once in a while.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the best gift for you is probably an NFL ticket. It sounds like, because so much passion out of it.
If you don't make me travel, yes. No, yes. I'm kidding. I'm also trying to. So the German game this year is in Berlin. Not the greatest stadium, so I'll probably pass that.
Have you played?
Oh God, no. That would be a terrible experience for everyone involved.
Okay.
Yeah, man, you used to play rugby, right? Similar.
For barely a year, yeah. And I think this was one of the best sports I've tried, but bad fingers, bad knees. If I managed to do it in a year, then that's not a good future for my health if I kept continuing.
Did you play in England or Poland?
Poland. Sorry, England.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So my way of making friends when I moved in here.
There's a repeated conversation I've had with a few people here about the recent size of the round from an investor, Insight Partners, into the construction tech arena. So I think that they've done a 40 million check with Trunk Tools, and then I keep getting the name of the company wrong. Is it Greenlight or something?
Greenlight.
The commercial permitting platform. They just done, was it 50 mil, I think?
Some ballpark, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and these are obviously quite big rounds within the industry, and maybe follows a trend of some of the other big rounds that we've seen recently. So do you guys have any thoughts on the increase of the size of the rounds coming into the industry? And I also have another question, Patrick, for you, which would be that how much does this disrupt your, even add to your quarterly analysis of the construction tech funding? Because my guess, having not done the numbers, would be that we might see a little bit of a spike in this quarter once you release your figures.
Yeah, that's certainly two of the larger rounds, but we have every quarter, we have somewhere around an 80 million, 100 million, 120 million round. And it's fairly common that we have like 30, 40, 50 million rounds each quarter. So if these are the only two ones, no, it won't lead to a spike. But I'll do the analysis in 4 weeks when the quarter is over. And then I can tell you more.
Yeah, it might be.
I think it's
significant.
overall very good that there's more money going there. The reason is more money will be spent, hopefully for good reasons. More people will get salaries. More people will be more focused on the problem that they are solving. So even if these startups fail, then this knowledge, I guess, and hope would be then moved on to another one, just with the human resource itself. But on the financial side, I have no idea.
I mean, it definitely creates some excitement around the industry. I don't know what I've seen from. We obviously had a Bedrock Robotics on recently, speaking to Kevin, and their ex-Waymo is obviously a massive name within the world, and some of the staff and people that are now moving into the company and that they're hiring also have really cool tech backgrounds and or like ex-founders or very high what would appear to be a very high caliber person entering the industry. So, but maybe this is more geared towards robotics versus construction technology as a whole term.
Do you have any celebrity there? Yeah, in general. Do you have any celebrity there?
What, Autodesk?
Yeah.
Do you mean is there like a celebrity speaker here?
Yeah, like like a keynote, someone. No. Like in Procore 2 years ago, there was some.
Yeah, I'm sure
like
there's
Michael
someone.
Phelps.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Maybe today.
Where were you if not on a conference?
Sorry?
I was asking, where were you if not on the conference?
What do you mean?
Country Music Hall of Fame, Titan Stadium.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, exploring. No, I haven't looked at the schedule for today. Very cool. I'll find out now for you, Martin.
Okay. Should we just discuss the chart, Patrick, that you sent yesterday?
Yeah, I'd love to. Are you sharing screen?
Have you got it at hand somewhere?
I might. Let me pull it up. Okay, yes, I got it. Sharing screen. Okay, so the context for this is me having fun with.
It's still not sharing.
No. I'm doing it.
Okay,
Be
sorry.
patient. Okay, so this is a chart that some of you might have had in their social feeds in the last 3 or 4 months. I think it first floated around in May or so, which is when this was done by someone. Sorry, I would give you credit, but I literally don't know who you are. So anyway, you landed in my social feed for another time. And this time I could not ignore you for what I think is either an extremely idiotic or extremely dishonest take. So let me just describe what this person has analyzed here. So they are showing on the left-hand side Exhibit 11, and Exhibit 11 says it's a bubble when you see the stock price disproportionately grow more than the earnings of the underlying asset. And they are showing here the Cisco chart from 98 through 2000. So basically the dot-com bubble. And they are showing that the stock price went up 4x into the peak, but the earnings actually only went up 2x at the same time frame. And they are proclaiming that this is how you spot a bubble. And they are showing a stock price where they are showing that the stock price basically 5x'd in the last 2 years, roughly. 18 months. And the earnings also roughly, sorry, not, did I say 2x, 5x in the last 2 years? And the earnings also performed and grew proportionately with that. And so they are saying, hey, with this exhibit 12, you can see that here, this is not a bubble. So clearly this is aimed at AI and AI doomers and et cetera, et cetera. And sorry, before I get into why I think this is either idiotic or dishonest, like, is it clear what they are showing, or should we comment on that further?
No, I think it's clear.
Owen, you look deliberating.
Yeah, I think it's clear.
Okay, all
I'm
right.
just trying to think of what you said is clear, but I think maybe people should also look at have a quick look at the screen if they can to see.
So, yeah, so basically, go ahead, Martin.
If the price of a stock, if the earnings don't follow the stock, it's a bubble. If the earnings follow the stock price, then it's not a bubble.
Yeah, and specifically the person is saying, hey, you can follow it, but it has to follow proportionately, or else it might be a bubble. But as long as it follows proportionately, it cannot be a bubble because the price must be grounded in earnings. Okay, so let me now show my exhibit 13. Okay, what you're seeing here is the stock price of a stock during the build-up of the big financial crash that happened. Well, it happened in 2007. The consequences we saw in 2008. And you're seeing here a stock. I'll reveal later what the stock is. You're seeing here the stock that basically grew their market cap from 1 billion to 3.85 billion in the peak, right ahead of when the crash happened in 2007. So more or less a 3.5x in the stock price. And now I'm showing you the earnings, which in the same comparative time frame was 140 million, 270 million, 400 million, and then even 550 million right into the crisis, which is how much? 3.5x. So this is the exact same chart as this guy was showing, or gal, I don't know who you are, was showing on the right-hand side to prove that we're not in an AI bubble, because as long as a big benefactor, NVIDIA, is still making proportionate growth in earnings to the stock price, it must not be a bubble. Well, I present you here the stock price of CBRE, one of the largest commercial real estate companies, brokers, investment firms in the world, and how their stock price and their earnings developed ahead of the great financial crash. And I can tell you why that is a poor metric, but I, let's say, rest my case so far.
So the conclusion is that the earnings can fall as well.
The conclusion is that you can have proportionate growth between stock price and earnings in a business that profits from a bubble, and you might still be in a bubble.
Yeah. But do you imply that NVIDIA stock? I'm not asking for prediction, but is it an NVIDIA stock specifically in a bubble, or?
I personally don't think so, but that doesn't speak for the market, and that's exactly the point. I think if you bought NVIDIA 2 years ago, you probably still have a very substantiated asset. So I'm not saying NVIDIA is in a bubble. I'm saying you can be in a bubble market and still have stock that benefit from the bubble market in terms of earnings.
Yeah, but I think, obviously, I don't know for sure, but in case the bubble bursts, then I would assume that NVIDIA stock and NVIDIA earnings will collapse.
So what if there is a bubble and there is less demand for GPUs? What will happen to NVIDIA then?
It will go down.
So is it really a good comparison that this person here is doing? It's either stupid, idiotic, or dishonest, because the signal on the right-hand side cannot be used to establish whether you're in a bubble or not. And that's exactly what this person is writing here in red and green letters. This is not a bubble. Wrong signal.
I agree that. Yeah, I agree. This is very, very narrow. Like comparing probably two different things, or not explaining everything.
So here's now the fun metaphor. I guess everybody that is has ever read a business book or finance book knows of the tulip hype and tulip crash in the 17th century in the Netherlands, right? So long story short, it was like NFT speculation just in tulips, where people thought the price of tulips would go up, even though there was no additional fundamental value of bidding the price of tulips up. And so people got into a bidding frenzy, and I believe even they created forwards back then on tulips, etc. And in the end, the Great Awakening came, and people lost money because obviously there was no substantial value that justified the elevated prices. And so that is called as the tulip bubble. Do you know who became very rich of the tulip bubble? The marketplace owner, because they probably got a shave off of every transaction that happened. So was the marketplace owner, where you could transact tulips, was they overvalued? No, they were valued exactly correctly, and yet you were in a bubble, because from every bubble, someone will actually make earnings.
Yeah, that's actually a great example. And the same with crypto exchanges during the bull, like a top of the bull cycles. The same
Coinbase,
situation.
fantastic
They
company.
Yes. I'm glad you didn't bring the bubble example based on Bitcoin example.
Hey, short supply, right, in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So amazing. Martin, to your earlier question, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. To your earlier question, there is a celebration tonight. Sadly, I won't be there as I'll be flying back. But do you want to guess the artist that will be performing at the Bridgestone Arena here?
Ed Sheeran or Lady Gaga?
Have a wild guess. Okay.
Where sorry,
Martin?
where they will be performing? Where? In Autodesk University?
In the Bridgestone Arena, which is the ice hockey arena just next door.
Let's do like
Yes,
Jennifer Lopez
over there.
or Beyonce.
No, it's actually Train, who sings global hits. Hey Soul Sister, Train.
Okay, so I'm too old.
Train.
No, I think
Or
you're
I'm
too
too
young.
boring. Okay.
Do you know what? Also, maybe some people will find this interesting. The shift of demographic of people coming to the Autodesk University
You feeling
conference. Is that you have? Did you say old?
old? Yeah, you feeling old or you feeling young?
Oh, here, somewhere in the middle. But yeah, more construction people are now apparently more attending these things. And do you know why that might be? So sorry, let me just give some more context. More construction versus architecture and engineering. So the construction concentrate people who work solely on construction. The concentration of those people is increasing at the Autodesk development.
Technology is eating the world.
Ideas why that might be?
I mean, look, it's probably the most important growth factor currently for Autodesk. You know, they push ACC, rightly so. If you remember one of the previous episodes, we saw that construction was actually getting the construction segment was actually getting 23% growth in the last quarter. The other segments were 3% and 14%. So you can see it in the numbers. So clearly very important for Autodesk.
Yeah, I think they still have majority of the market.
Patrick.
My feeling is that they have majority of the market for the software case, and now to win more from their competitors, what would have to happen? Either competitor collapses or they just reinvent the wheel completely. It's just so I think it's very difficult to get the share out of their competitors in terms of like design software. But for new solutions for construction site, that's probably the way to go.
Yeah, I think just to add to Patrick's point, he's right. The more growing share of Autodesk construction, a number of them have been around how to migrate from Procore to Autodesk Construction Cloud. And what people maybe will also find funny is that when these Procore and Autodesk actively like go at each other at these events, because when we were at Groundbreak back in 2023, Autodesk were driving a truck around and apparently flying a plane around advertising the Autodesk University conference. I'm yet to see the Procore plane, train, truck, whatever it might be, here driving around, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something later.
What was that like made the biggest impression on you during this trip or during the conference, or like what surprised you?
Um,
Obviously, you also hanged out with quite a few friends, right?
yeah, obviously, we're not, nothing is like nothing comes to mind when you ask that question, Martin. I think yeah, everyone, there's no surprises. I don't know that this is a bias I'm now developing because we are covering this industry quite intensely, so we're quite up to speed with how things are developing with technology and so on and so forth. But yeah, nothing's majorly surprising. It's just good to see, like, I suppose the quantity of people here. I think probably like 10 to 15,000 attendees at this conference, and so many people working on or to do with Autodesk products. So yeah, they obviously have a huge impact throughout the construction industry. And yeah, honestly, that's it. Sorry, I don't have anything. I feel like when we ask these questions to people, musicians. So, yeah, sorry, nothing.
That's okay.
Okay. I feel like we're really producing a high quality episode this week. So
It is.
maybe given the Wi-Fi issues, we cut it short, guys. What do
Yeah,
you think?
Sounds
yeah,
good.
we could do that. This was very ad hoc. So we made it work with constraints. Ish. Let's do that.
Yeah.
And so for context, yeah, Martin, you literally got back to your desk from your travels 5 minutes before we started this. We've all been busy.
I actually
Cool.
didn't hear that, Owen.
Thanks, guys.
Owen, safe travels back.
Okay. Okay, you guys
Thank
take
you.
care. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
See you soon, yeah?
Bye. I forgot I need to cut it short. How do I do it?